Welcome back to Off Guard. It's your host, Austin Rivers, along with my guy, Pausha Hagigi. We are back November 20th. What's up, my guy?
I am excited that we're doing the pod today because the other day we both went to the Warriors game, Magic Warriors game, and you went to the game last year, and Steph had like 56, and he was looking at you after every shot.
I thought I was going to bring the
yeah.
charm
When I saw you walk in, I was like, you know what, that makes sense. And
he did have like 35 though.
No, he had a great game. First half was crazy, and we'll get into. Watching Steph, I thought was such a different experience than watching any other player. It's crazy. And I want to talk about one thing. A fan came up to me in the concourse. You don't know what the concourse is because I think you park under the arena and you get your courtside
somewhere.
Seats. Yeah, you don't go to where I call Peasantville, where I'm just walking around the concourse with nachos and cheese. And a guy came up to me and he, hey man, love the pod. And he goes, how come Austin doesn't go live anymore? I guess you used to go live a lot more on Instagram.
Yes, I was a lot more active on like my Twitter and Instagram.
Is this a Michael Porter Jr. situation where NBC told you to not go live, or what's going on?
With the NBC stuff, I just try to you know what I'm saying? I try to save my opinions, my takes for whether it's the pod, the Eye for the Game show, or just national television.
Yeah.
I'm trying to just keep it corporate. Some of those tweets could stir the pot a little bit sometimes. Or when you're live, there's no retakes, there's no cutting, there's no editing. So when you're interacting with fans, everything I'm saying will and can be used against me.
Of course.
So it's just like that's where I'm at with that. So I should do it more. I just got to find that middle ground.
Yeah, because when we hear you on NBC, obviously it's like the polished version of you. You're next to the bench.
Yeah.
And on the pod, obviously we get to edit if you say what you want to say.
Correct.
And we keep it hoops over here, but before you'd get like your haircut, I remember, and you'd go live, and it was really like Austin raw and uncut.
But that's where like even the streaming stuff, people like the unfiltered live and direct way of content now. Think how big streaming and all these different avenues have become. Some of those guys have reached out. I from what I've seen, everybody that goes on there, their brand it's not good for their brand after something is said, because they'll bring it up. You don't have to go on there like with an expectation to talk about something wild. If you're on one of these popular streamers, like topics they purposely throw out there because they know it'll go viral. Mm-hmm. And then you end up in a situation where you're like, how do I answer this? I don't want to be in those situations. They talk about all type of stuff.
Right.
Like, have you seen he's hilarious, but it's just, you seen the 6ix9ine stuff? Like, he's just all over these streamers. Again, he says stuff all the time. It's just like, it's wild, but it's entertaining.
Yeah.
I'm not there.
And at what cost, right? Like we could be talking about things on this pod for the last few years that would have been super viral or really funny, but then I don't know what your future looks like career wise.
I think different.
If you say certain things.
I think different forms of entertainment get affected differently. If a rapper wants to go on a stream, it'd be great. It's great for him. All right, you know what I'm saying? But like as an former NBA player, if you want to coach or be in the front office, guys who are on streams saying stuff aren't getting hired. It's not going to happen.
You see what Coach Finch said when he said about podcasting? He goes, it gets you the Lakers job.
Little
job at
yes. Yeah, that was wild.
That was
he
wild.
did that. He was like almost out of pocket for that. It's like a stray bullet to JJ Redick there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think there's a way to do things, and there's like a certain etiquette that you got to have, and there's a way that you need to come across towards corporate America, especially if we're talking NBA and these multi-billion-dollar businesses doing the messy stuff. It's not attractive.
Right.
So I try to steer clear of that. Even having a pod, you have to be aware of certain things that we talk about.
Right.
And we're pretty
I think
straight on as possible, but we do it in a way where we're not trying to disrespect people.
People love our pod because it's more you talk about your experiences about being an NBA player. We don't really dive outside of that. But
Exactly.
I think one time you talked about you don't like double dipping a chip, and we turned it right back into basketball.
We have pet peeves.
Pet peeves,
but that's about as far as
people like that too. A lot of our friends in Orlando love the pet peeves.
They do.
They still get those off air. We don't get those on air anymore.
It's hard to come up with one every episode. I'm not like an angry person. I don't have a million pet peeves. There's something every once in a while that bothers me.
Maybe me and your fiance will come walking around with a notepad, and every time you complain about something,
y'all act like I'm Larry David. Like I'm just walking around like
Larry David's a billionaire, man. That's not the worst thing that's ever happened.
Created Seinfeld.
Yeah,
I created Off Guard.
Yeah, you did.
A little bit of a discrepancy there, but it's all good, man.
Okay, that's a good segue into the Nets. I guess, for lack of a better term, censoring Michael Porter Jr., our guy. Obviously, a lot of the stuff he was doing this summer was we found it entertaining. It was really funny. I think what happens is when the team's like 2-10 or something, not that funny, right? Like that's probably what it is. Where they're like, oh, we can't lose and also have.
They could be coming at it from multiple standpoints. They'd be, whether it's what you're saying, just being politically correct. They could be trying to look out for him too.
Right.
Michael these things could affect your brand. And, I don't know what it is. Also, he doesn't represent just himself. He represents the Nets. Again, we just talked about corporate America, NBA team. They're not going to want this in the wake, especially like you said, when you're losing games. It's already a cloud over your practice facility every single day you're there. Everyone's trying to win. Everyone's trying to do better. If you got a guy outside of this talking that's creating something that's also not positive, it's like, we can't.
Right.
We don't want to deal with both. It'd be one thing if the Nets were the number one team in the league and he was leading the NBA in scoring.
Well, like when Draymond does his pod, for example,
Draymond says it,
and
nobody says anything.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's situational. I do think Michael's pod is great. I love it. He has a niche because he is one of those guys that's not afraid to go in those other fields, but you just got to have a line sometimes. You know what I mean? You just got to be careful. So I'm going to be positive with this and say I think they're looking out for him, maybe.
For sure.
In some regards. Again, I still want him to do the podcast, but maybe just certain topics he's got to just be aware about.
Or talk to his editing team and maybe just clean up whatever.
That too, maybe.
Yeah.
He's playing well, though.
Yeah, I was about to say, speaking of the Michael Porter Jr. trade, I think we need to revisit it. This thing happens in the NBA, and you talk about it all the time, is the NBA is like a big high school where it's like you get a bad, rumor or stereotype about you, right? A notion about you that it follows you.
Yeah.
And Michael Porter Jr. was kind of like a selfish, like you said, the black hole, not passing the ball kind of thing. And when they traded him for Cam Johnson, everyone really liked the trade. They're like, man, the Nuggets, great offseason move. So far, it's early, but Michael's have had games with the Nets where he reminds you he's the number one player in the country. One and done, like super talented guy. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, obviously the Nuggets use him as, obviously more of a spot up guy.
Yeah, but he was a scorer nonetheless, though.
Yeah.
There. I think you're right. And it is a big high school, and perception is everything. So you could be unfairly, fairly, whatever it is, labeled something. Here's the problem. Just like anything in life, if you're working with people, right? Let's take every team individually as a brand or as a corporation. There's hundreds of people that work in this corporation. You are not going to get along with everybody. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
And what can happen is if you don't get along with a certain person, a coach, an exec, you could be labeled difficult, but he might not be difficult. It might just be that situation. Do you understand what I'm saying? Maybe Michael Malone and Michael Porter Jr. didn't have the greatest relationship. I don't know. But that right there doesn't define Michael or Coach Malone. Do you understand what I'm saying? But that's what happens in the NBA is one person can have something. And again, Michael had a great run in Denver. He was a key player for a team that won a championship. He's part of the championship team. He has a ring. He had a big part to play in that championship run. So his legacy in Denver is cemented as a really good contributor for that team. What happens is you get scenarios like this where something might not be working, or like you said, he shoots too much, doesn't pass, and you just get labeled something. And when you get labeled something, we start highlighting your cons, and we start diminishing your pros. We look at players for what they don't do instead of, what they can do very well. I said this with Cam Thomas. I understand he takes tough shots. I understand he's labeled as a black hole scorer. He's only been in one situation his whole career. So if you take Cam Thomas and put him on the Bucks, if you take Cam Thomas and put him on a team that needs scoring, that's in that playoff hunt, that's in the mix, I think he could be a value contributor. They tried to label Jordan Clarkson early in his career, and then he found his way in the NBA and made himself a really good sixth man of the year. What, twice now? Yeah. Once or twice. But he's been up for it multiple times, and I know he's won it. Nonetheless, a guy that you can pay to come to your team and get scoring, just like Jamal Crawford, just like Lou Will, just like a lot of these guys who get paid to come off the bench and have a contribution or start, whatever. The case may be, back to Michael, everybody started talking about how he takes tough shots. He is a black hole. He's not a good defender. And started diminishing the things that he's very, very good at. So much to the point where, like you said, he had this black kind of, there was just like a negativity towards him. He almost
become underrated.
Exactly. And then they trade him for Cam
Johnson,
Cam Johnson, and everyone's like, oh my God. They got a younger, better version of Michael. Bro, Michael's a much better player. Cam, and I'm not taking anything away from Cam Johnson. He can play. He's a good basketball player. He could shoot. He could defend. He plays hard. He looks like he's a really good teammate, and he's doing great he's doing good with Denver. He's playing much better now than he was in the beginning, at least. And he's a good player. Michael's averaging like 23 a game, and I know it's on the Nets, but Cam Johnson put up numbers too. Michael's a better player, and even Michael with Denver, people underestimated or undervalued his contribution. He wasn't just a spot shooter. The guy averaged 16, 17, 18 points a game. They weren't all spot shots. He can take tough shots, but he makes tough shots, and he makes big shots for them. And I think people are so much looking at the things he didn't do that they started to undervalue the things that he was really good at. That's putting the ball in the damn basket, guys. That's how you win the game. It's whoever puts the ball in the basket the most. And I understand you have to have guys who play defense. I understand Michael had parts of his defensive game that wasn't the greatest, but he wasn't in certain moments. He did try harder. And that championship run, that finals run when they won a ring, Michael wasn't actually that bad on defense. He wasn't great, but he actually was out there trying and playing hard. So, and that happens with every great. There's a lot of great players. I'm not going to name names, but you go to each team and talk about one of their better players who's not a good defender. There's always a non-good defender on the team. It's rare you have a Rockets team set up where you got all 5 guys can slide your feet, or a Thunder. There's other teams who are mostly made up of guys who defend, some guys who aren't as well, as long as you try. He was getting to that point. And I think his scoring got undervalued.
Yeah, and I think we see a lot of guys throughout their career, their value in the NBA goes up and down so much. Like even our guy Vooch, he's with the Magic, he's an all-star. Then he goes to the Bulls, he's overrated. I think now if he was a free agent tonight, after he had a game winner last night, he's playing really good and the Bulls are good, he'd probably get another contract. Like it's just like your career goes up and down, but you're probably still the same player. It's just like their perception goes up and down.
It's crazy, man. Yeah. It's like it's a mix of everything. It's a mix of you gelling with the team and your performance. If your performance improves somewhere and then they hear that there's no incidents going on or no problems, then they're like, oh, he's doing great now. But it's like he's always been great. Just the last situation wasn't the best one for him to work in. So It's just like, that's why I brought up every corporation. You're not going to get along. It just happens sometimes, man. There's coaches I played with that outside the court, like I don't got no problem with him, but like working with him just wasn't he didn't unlock me. He didn't let me, you know what I'm saying? Like there's things that it just works and doesn't work. There's certain systems, certain playing styles that you'll thrive in more.
Well, even like I think Eric Spoelstra and Jimmy Butler, when it happened, everyone like, this is a perfect marriage. Miami Heat and Jimmy Butler, their attitude. No one would have guessed it ended the way it would end.
And, it just got to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just happens,
right?
Man. Because at the end of the day, a lot about sports is relationships. You got to work with someone. You got to like someone. It helps to like somebody. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, people always talk about, like, well, Kobe and Shaq were able to do it, and Scottie and Michael were able to do it. Bro, you're talking about the anomalies? You're talking about the greatest duos of all time? Yes, those guys are able to. You're not Kobe and Shaq. Most guys aren't. Most guys aren't Scottie and Michael. So, yes, some situations where they weren't very close are able to work it out, but most people, like, it helps to like the guy. Yeah. And if it doesn't, usually it grows and grows and grows, especially if you're losing or something like that.
You always make the joke, like, well, you'll see when the team's down 10 in the playoffs, like in the first half, if the main players don't like each other, something it could fall apart
quickly.
Yeah, it
helps if you guys are like brothers and like want to do.
Look at the Thunder. That is a group of guys that hang out outside the basketball court. There's no doubt about it.
You can see it, and they genuinely have there's a culture of positivity around that team. And you could see it from a mile away.
What team did you play for that you saw that you guys were the closest, you would say, off the court?
It's funny. When I played for the Knicks, that team, we all like hung out. Like everybody was cool. Now we didn't hang out, like we didn't go to places because we lived in White Plains, you know what I mean? So there's nowhere to go. But like on the road with quarantine and stuff, we'd all hang out in the rooms, like play video games, hang out and talk. I had never been on any team where like guys talked that much and like joked and laughed on the buses on the plane. It was like me, Julius Randle, Alfred Payton, Reggie Bullock.
Reggie Bullock has an island? What
Bullock Island now. Did you see that? That was like viral. Was that last week or the week before?
Yeah, I can't believe
like a whole week dedicated to people being like, yo. I wonder, everyone's in the comment like, this is dope, but how does he get his groceries? I'm sure they figured these steps out, but it is crazy. Yeah, he has his own like house, court. I wonder if he rents that out to people, because otherwise the maintenance on that has to be just nuts. No,
like who owns? Like that's his island. Like who's the president? Like is it the mayor, president, and like?
And how does that work with the rules on the island?
I don't know. I'm saying it's like the Wild Wild West over there. I don't want to. Should we pull up to Bullock Island and see what's going on?
He had like basketball courts, tennis courts. He had all that set up.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, though. I mean, it's kind of outside the box thinking. I mean, most people don't think about buying like a small island. I think it's close to like Jamaica, or it'd have to be down there, right?
assuming. It would have been perfect during the COVID times.
Oh, yeah, just being stranded on that. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad place. You don't have to worry about getting sick either. Nobody's coming on there. Yeah.
Oh, you mentioned Julius Randle, your former teammate. He's been playing really well. It's still, I don't know if I love the fit with him and Ant. I still don't even know went to the conference finals last year. But I mean, it's just undeniable. Like right now, he'd be an all-star this year.
Yeah, I think him and Ant can work if Julius can also add just catch and shoot to his game, which he said openly to me that he's working on. He's like, I think for me and Ant to work better, I have to do some of my scoring now, not just me in the post hitting the ball. I got to do a good job of moving it out the ball and hitting catch and shoot shots. If I can do that and be a spacer and knock this three down at a high percentage like Carl did, it can give room for Ant. But if I'm always in the way, we're too crowded. He's like, so I got to do a good job of monitoring. I was like, oh, so he's aware.
Well, if everyone that saw them play the Thunder last year in the playoffs, it just looked, I don't use the word predictable, their offense, where it's Ant going, and then the Thunder would
see
swarm.
What happens is
same with
you got to believe in it, even when it's not work, even when you're losing.
Yeah.
So what happens is, Julius has this mindset, Ant and them have this mindset, the understanding of how to give and take for each other to work. What happens when you're down 2-0 and you're losing by 15 in game 3? Like, I'm gonna go. I gotta go get. That's when it changes. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Of course.
And then it gets even worse. So that's what happens is you got to live and die with it. You got to buy in to all these different things. That's why the teams who are really good are teams who are just consistently them. Pacers were going to play their way, whether they're down 20, down 30. They're just going to keep playing fast. They don't change. And then they take and live with what they win and lose with. But they don't change their style. They're not down 20 and then start playing iso ball. It doesn't happen. They just play the way they play. Those are the good teams.
But then that ISO ball sometimes helps them. Like that one game Ben Mathurin in the finals last year just kind of did. Because he was the only kind of ISO guy on that team.
You can have a one-off guy.
Yeah, he just had his 30 that saved them one game. You know what I mean?
We're struggling putting the ball in the basket. Don't put Ben in. Ben's just going to put the ball in the basket.
Right.
That's what he is. You know what I mean? That's why the Knicks went and got Clarkson. There were times in the playoffs last year where they were in a dogfight versus Indiana, and they couldn't. They just. Who do we have on the bench? It's McBride, who's a good player, but they're like, we need someone who could just go score, man. Let's go get JC and see if we're in a drought, can JC go give us 15? That 15 is a big deal. So it's a needed position. This is what we talked about. This is where I think Michael is a value on some of these teams where people see all these things. He doesn't pat. Okay, listen, man. It's fourth quarter and it's 92-92 and you guys have gone 4 possessions in a row and haven't scored. Michael's one of those guys just go hit a tough shot. It's just like what he can do.
It reminds me of, I just want to see like a guy like Zach LaVine. Like he'd be perfect on the Milwaukee Bucks or something like that. And I just feel like he hasn't been in the perfect situation to bring out the best in him.
His whole career.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's him. I don't know what it is anymore because it's too much time. It's like, can I get Zach in one situation?
Like the way Aaron Gordon found it with the Nuggets where it's this is his perfect situation.
I would like to get Zach in a position where he's not a 1 option. He's not a 2 option. I don't even want him as a 3. I just want him as a player on the team, on a good team. Like I want Zach LaVine on a...
I thought the Bucks would have been a perfect
Bucks would be. If he was on the Bucks, he'd be probably the second option. So, yeah, because he's a prolific scorer. But I want him on a team where he's like the 3rd or 4th option. And a guy who just like, hey, we want you to play hard. We're going to ask you to defend here. If you don't want to defend here, we're going to move you.
But what happens with guys like that is they end up doing that later on in their career, like Bradley Beal or something. And by then, sometimes it's too late.
Too late, yeah. I don't know where Zach is right now.
Yeah.
In his career. But he's still got some explosion left. He still has some time. But he's got to get out of like Sac. It's just like another bad team he's been on. It's his whole career. How many playoff games do he have? Zach has like 5. Yeah. I don't know what it is.
That one year with the Bulls, I think they lost to the Bucks.
And that was his first time there. And that was like in year 8 or something, like 7 or whatever it was. Like he needs to get on a good team for once.
Lauri Markkanen has never been in the playoffs. He's that other guy. We talked about him on the last pod.
He's like 3rd in scoring right now in the NBA. Like, he needs to be on a good team.
Yeah.
He might be playing too well to the point where like, hey, we're getting a top pick next year. Why don't we build with that top pick and Lauri? It's like the Shea thing. Remember, everyone's like, get off of Shea. He's too old. Thunder was like, no, we're gonna keep him.
Well, if Lauri helps the Utah Jazz win games, they're gonna have to do something with him.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true.
They want to get a top pick. That reminds me of the way you're describing how the Timberwolves could play to beat the Thunder, where it's just everyone kind of playing a certain role. Is how the Hawks have been playing. Since Trae's been out. That's been the topic now.
They've been playing
they won 7 out of their last 10, and it's by committee. And they're long. Jalen Johnson, player of the week.
They all defend, yeah.
What do you, I mean?
He's hooping.
And they're going to get the Pelicans' unprotected pick next year, too. So
correct.
What do you think happens with Trae? 'Cause we're Trae guys on this pod.
I think they move Trae. And I think they It has nothing to do with Trae. Trae's a fantastic player. Trae can go to a team. If Trae Young was on the Magic, they'd be a contending team right away. So I think they're going to try to trade for some young talent to put and add to that team, and they're going to go draft a high guard next year. I think they're going to take their chances in the draft because they're thinking, man, listen, if we could even give it there's so much talent in that damn draft. They're like, if we could even just get a top 10 pick, we're good.
Right.
We can live with that. We'll get some good guard. It might not be AJ or Peterson, but we might get a Mikael Brown. We might get there's a foreign kid from Virginia Tech. There's a lot of these random, just talented players out there. They'll grab somebody.
Yeah, I think them getting the Pelicans pick next year makes them a little more flexible to then go
Absolutely.
trade. Yeah.
And Trae's value is still extremely high. This guy's a walking 28, 10, and 4. He's shoots above 40 from 30. He's a certified star still. So his value is high, especially for a team who's really again, Orlando. They could trade him to Orlando for, De Silva, a second-round pick, Anthony Black. I'm saying this is how much value he has. So you can get a couple good young players to add to the depth of your already good wings and guards you have, and then get a.
So why couldn't they look at it like, man, we're winning and we don't even have Trae? Why can't we spin it and say make it a positive thing?
I just think Trae has been there with that team. You see what it looks like with Trae.
Yeah.
You saw what it looked like with Trae, which they're good, but we're just as good without him. So if we could use him to add to our depth and get a top pick next year to draft a young, talented guard with this young team that matches the current timeline of him, but it's just building out for the future.
Yeah.
It's not about being good now. The only way you'd keep Trae is, can we win a finals with him? If we're not going to win a finals with him, then let's build the longevity of this thing to gives us more time to win a finals with a young guard.
Yeah.
It's not even about Trae. It's just about the logic of what's best for our organization. That's how you have to think as an exec.
Well, Jalen Johnson winning Player of the Week without Trae is okay, so this guy has untapped potential that he's not reaching.
Hitting turnaround fadeaways and getting and ones. He lives in the paint. Jalen Johnson right now has figured out that he is trusting his jump shot, but they can't keep me out of the paint. And I'm strong enough to finish in there at will. And that's going to be my bread and butter. As long as he keeps that mindset with the polished improvement of his jump shot, he will continue to be a star player. It's the guys who fall in love with the jump shot and get away with what made them. Don't remember, Shea makes all type of jumpers. He lives in the paint too, guys.
Yeah.
It's how he scores. When James Harden was averaging 30, people talk about his step back threes. They don't know this guy was in the paint, Euro stepping and floatering the entire game too. You got to have a steady. He's led the league in free throws. You got to have a steady diet of both. And Jalen Johnson right now is figuring that out. He's doing it. It's what sometimes drives me crazy with Wemby. It's when you see Wemby have 36, and then the next game he has 9. How does he? It should never happen. You're too big, too talented. You got to live in the paint. That's got to be 70% of your offense. So 30% is your jump shot. Now, nights with the jump shots going, it proves it's 50% that night. Maybe it's 50-50. But the paint is always the guy. That's how the big scorers score.
So you brought up Wemby. Wemby, Giannis, and a bunch of other guys around the NBA right now are dealing with injuries. They're going to be out a few weeks. A lot of calf strains.
People are worried about the injury.
And now Shams just reported that the NBA is going to look into how to injury prevention. I don't know why that hasn't already been happening. Is your answer short, less games, no back-to-backs? Is that because that's also less money?
I had a theory, but guys like Giannis being hurt and Luka being hurt in and out, he's back now. But Wemby, it contradicts my beliefs. I had a theory that a lot of our guys get hurt because they don't play enough in the summer. Most guys are doing individual training. That's kind of the day and age of basketball. Everybody has a trainer. Everybody rents a house in LA or Miami or New York or wherever you want to go, and you have your trainer you work with every day and your weightlifting trainer who's different, and you do your workouts, and then you go hang out. That's like the way of an NBA player. Those guys overseas are with their national team. They're playing all summer. So when they come into camp, they're in playing shape, and they are used to their body playing and sliding their feet and all those muscles activating because they've been doing it all summer for the national team. That was my theory. It's being debunked right now because Giannis is hurt, who plays all summer, and Wemby's hurt, who plays all summer, and Luka's been in and out, who plays all summer. So I'm just I don't know what's going on. The only thing it could be, it's not like we don't have trainers doing their part, guys. So the only answer to this would be less games. But if you do less games, then it's less money. You don't get to work less and still make your contracts. It's not how it works, guys.
Right. If you sign a huge TV deal and you're like, all right, now we're going to play 70 games, they're going to be
They're well, wait. We agreed on this. So now are you giving money back?
Yeah.
Or you got to pay these guys? What are we talking about here? So that way of thinking is just, I don't know what they're going to do with that.
Yeah.
Or they could maybe make the season longer. That way they can put more days in between each game.
Well, also,
that could happen
people are
too.
saying, why are there more injuries? Why are there more injuries? We've covered this on the pod before. Look at the way players are moving now versus in the 80s or 90s. And this is no disrespect to the 80s and 90s. I'm not doing that.
No, but there's a truth to
honest.
that.
The
There's a
way
truth
people
to
are
that.
jumping and landing, what Giannis is doing, it's different on the body playing 82.
Absolutely.
Versus,
listen, you can't argue with anybody that the way guys' body movements are now compared to what they were. Just the in and out, the way your knees and ankles are bending, stopping on a dime, Euro stepping, all that pressure is being on one foot, double cross. Just any move that you see now is different from the spin moves back in the day when they would just be like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just the evolution of the game. So with that, we continue to push our body to new extremities. Now, you guys were more physical back then, but you guys were more physical also because you could get your hands on people because the way guys were moving and crossing.
right.
There wasn't a guy coming down like shifty like that. You can't even get these guys couldn't get their hand on them if they tried. If you went to go put your hand on him, he'd hit you with something and be like, what are you can't be that physical in today's game because guys are too elusive. So with the evolution of the game, with us pushing ourselves, these new moves, these new body movements, how fast the game is nowadays, we're pushing our bodies to a different extremity than what they did in the 2000s and 90s. Now, they were more physical in ways, but in today's day, we're talking about a lot of these are non-contact injuries. You got guys going to step and just tearing something.
There's a theory online, and I don't think we've ever covered this before, but it's the change of pace. Because players back in the day would just go one way, right?
Yes,
Even like Russ that's had really good injury luck. He kind of has one speed too, right? Like a lot of those guys just went one way. It's the slow down, acceleration, deaccelerate. Like it's the change of pace is what's working with.
There were so few players that had that in the 90s and 2000s. Like Mark Price would come down and shifty and hit you with some people like, whoa.
Yeah, like Rod Strickland would slow down on a fast break.
Like, yo,
that's great.
Yeah, Rod Strickland. You know, these are guys, even like Kevin Johnson with the Suns would come down and like kind of burst into something.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these guys didn't have that. The few that did, you could see it. Tim Hardaway Jr. hit it with the double cross, and people were like, yo.
Steve Smith hit you with a Smitty where he
the
baseline. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Now we have players with all these moves in one. Every guy can do all of them. So with like I said, with the boundaries of our body movements being pushed, with the evolution of the game is going to come the higher risk of somebody tweaking or tearing or spraining or straining something. Just with that's just what's coming with the game. So I don't know if there's anything you could really do. People are like, what's going on with the Achilles? Why is this happening so much? Look how guys are moving.
Right.
It's just what it is.
Going full speed and then slowing down at the drop of a dime like that I'd imagine would be crazy on the ligaments.
And that's why it's like you saw at some point in the past, there was like a heighten in ACL tears. You know what I mean? Like, it just happens. It's part of the game, unfortunately. But with the evolution and the push of our medical improving, we've seen guys recover a lot faster. Now you're seeing guys tear their Achilles and they're starting to come back a little bit quicker. People are like, what's going on? He's not human. No, bro, our medicine is advancing. We're starting to be more familiar with an injury that's happening a lot more. How many times, it's so frequent now, unfortunately. Guy tears Achilles. How many stars have we had tear their Achilles? So now our medicine, our trainers, our doctors are performing better surgeries. The recovery process is getting more advanced and better because it's happening. We're able to learn from our mistakes, unfortunately. Some of these guys who tore their Achilles, their careers didn't work out. They had to happen for people to see to get better for these guys who are happening now.
Absolutely. And in the 1990s, 80s, whatever, if you tore your ACL,
it was over.
My brother was a tennis player. In 1998, tore his ACL. Our family looked at it like that was it.
It's it.
Jalen Johnson tore his ACL last year. He came back stronger.
Yeah.
That's quicker and stronger. So hopefully the Achilles could become.
You're seeing it already.
Yeah. Jason Tatum's dunking.
Damian Lillard's doing full workouts.
Yeah.
That would never happen 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's only happened because we continue to be able to learn and figure out ways to heal this process due to the frequency of the injury. It's the evolution of medicine. So it's just going to have to be a part of the game, guys. The way guys are playing now, the speed at which guys are playing, you're going to see, unfortunately, a lot of these little muscle tears. With that, though, hopefully our medicine is improving at the same rate and we can continue to manage these things. Otherwise, we're talking about extremities. Paying less, different, less games, longer seasons, maybe spacing days. It's a lot there.
So let me ask you then, as a non-player to player, you're the only one that could describe it, right? What's it like when you're on the second half of a back-to-back? Is your body that much more? It's completely different night and day.
It's the travel. And people underestimate the physicality in an NBA game. They think just because we're not in the NFL, there's no physicality. Man, we're bumping and cutting and touching each other at full speed. during an NBA game. So no, I'm not getting tackled to grass, but I'm playing on hardwood, bro. So all those falls, man, that stuff you don't feel in the moment because of the adrenaline's there. There's also a soreness to your body from your body just playing with a certain adrenaline. It would be like if you've ever gotten in a fight, when you're like adrenaline is there, like you could be wrestling or something, you don't feel it because it's up. 4 hours later, you'll feel your body just sore or your muscles tense just from them being up like that. We have to perform every other night. So when your adrenaline is up and you're running and you're pushing and there's that crowd and the pressure, all these different things, people don't understand. Like 4 hours later, when you're on a plane, bro, sitting in an up front position and you're not comfortable because you're flying to Portland or you're flying, especially on the East Coast when it's freezing outside. Bro, that soreness is real. 50 games into a season and then you got to play that next night and do it again. People underestimate that type of toll on your body. And we run and jump. Our knees and our joints are not, the human body is not made to cut and move and run like that, man. All right. We're pushing the extremities of that on hardwood with no pads. So there's a different level of soreness there that we have. Again, football and them, they have their own thing. They have their own stuff that they push that we aren't familiar with, but we have our own stuff. So people just like think, oh, these guys are just, they don't play as much these days.
Well, you hear like, I think it was like Charles Barkley or something. They're like, they fly private and they stay at the nice hotels.
I hear you, Charles,
back to
but
back's
like,
not that
Charles,
bad.
it's just different, man. All right. Like these guys are making $40 million. You should play. It's like,
that's not a bad impression, by the way. That's pretty, you've been working on that. That was solid.
And I agree with what he's saying. There are some guys who are soft. There are players, but in totality, the bulk of guys, yeah. It's tough. I think it's underestimated.
Sidebar, you mentioned the adrenaline during a game, obviously the crowd, everything, the stimulation. Is it like impossible afterwards to fall asleep at night? Like
no, I'd be out. I used to be out.
Oh, really?
I used to struggle watching film. There's some guys who like they open the laptop right away, watch their edits. I'm like, man, on a back-to-back, I was just trying to get as much rest as possible. Back-to-backs are also great when you play bad. When you play bad the night before and you don't have to wait 2 days to play again, you're like, yes, I can redeem myself tomorrow.
Yeah.
So sometimes you want a back-to-back.
What if you play bad right before the last game before All-Star break, and then you have a week to think about it?
It's the worst. You know what's crazy? I used to always try to play my best basketball before All-Star break, and sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. But I try to do a focus on that.
I always thought the games before All-Star break were the least hard, like the hardest. I mean, to predict, because some guys probably are thinking Cabo. Wherever they're going, they're one foot out the door, making like arrangements.
It's the worst game. I always tell people, you want to watch bad basketball? Look at the NBA's game night the night before they're off for All-Star break and see how good these guys are playing.
They have the planes outside.
All these players have a plane. I would love to see the Clearport. I would love to see the Clearport the night of the games the day before All-Star break. There's about 15 planes set up for guys to go wherever they're going. It's summer tropical. Cabo, Bahamas, St. Lucia, whatever it is.
I've been the lucky end of a couple of those trips. I tell you.
People are like, "Where are you going?" It's a discussion before the game. Hey, so where you flying out after? Yeah, man, I'm going down to me and wifey going down.
Also, a lot of the times their friends are in that city.
Oh, they're waiting.
Because they're flying out. Their friends are on together.
They're at the game already.
Can we hurry the second half up?
You'll see it too. The games will be. You'll see guys just checked out. And then there's some guys who use it as an opportunity. Like, I'm gonna go get 30 tonight.
Right.
They're not around. It's the same thing. The first game after All-Star break, guys are hungover and not in shape. I used to work so hard during All-Star break because I used to be like, man, that first game, those first two games, I'm gonna crush, and I did.
Would you just go to Orlando?
I'd come in here and I'd train all summer. So I mean, all All-Star break, and then that first game back. Bro, I'd have like 27. It happened
because
every
you're the
time.
only one that.
Everybody else is like, you're doing too much. Nah, yeah, that's how it was.
I cannot believe we've gone like 35 minutes into this pod. I haven't asked you about what was it like, being on the sideline next to your father's bench, interviewing him. I thought that was gonna be like the first thing I brought up. I can't believe it took me 30 minutes, but just kind of want to go over that process.
It was a lot of fun. It was different. It was weird interviewing him. Obviously, it's just like
that was hilarious.
It was like awkward, but it was surreal, man. I had like a real pinch me moment, to be honest. At one point, he's standing in front of me, yelling at his team. I'm calling the game.
You're having flashbacks. I'm just kidding.
No, yeah, I had flashbacks of my childhood. No, but I'm watching him like yell at the team, and I'm like sitting here calling the game, and I'm seeing my dad in front of me. And then I'm looking to my left, and my little brother is like yelling the same things as my dad. I'm like, bro, look at this, man. Like, we're all three right here. Like,
that's so cool.
This is kind of cool, man. Like, I don't know anybody else doing this. You know what I mean? Like, we're the only ones doing it, and I think that's a blessing. Like,
I should have got Jeremiah a courtside seat. Your other brother, just get them all. Let's get everyone right in that little area right there.
Man, that was one of those moments where I was just like, man, I'm so proud of my little brother too. That's the thing, like. We overshadow him in some ways. It's like, so that night was so much about me and my dad. And I kept even on the broadcast saying like stuff about my brother, or like trying to remind people like, yeah, my brother's a head of player development for the Bucks. He might be 4 years away, 3 years away from being on the front of a bench. And then after that, you don't know how fast he could be. I think my younger brother within the next 10 years is going to be a head coach of an NBA team.
If he wants to, right? Some guys want to go to the GM,
but I think he wants
that.
to. Otherwise, why is he doing what he's doing? And he lives in the gym. He's there all day.
Yeah.
He's there all day, bro. He lives and breathes it, and he knows it, and this is all he's ever known is coaching, and that's all he's wanted to be. Spencer never had a vision of being an NBA player. He just loved playing basketball, so he was going to play as long as he could. But as soon as his college career was over, he didn't chase playing at some low level overseas. He went right into it, bro, because this is exactly what he wants to do, and I think he'd be really good at it. Obviously he's there learning from my pops every day. Like, it's just, I think he's bred. I think we both could be coaches in the NBA eventually one day, to be completely honest. The
only reason I said if he wants to be is because there's also the front office route too for a lot of guys.
I think, again, and I think a lot of those can be synonymous in terms of wants to be in both of those fields. I envision myself as these things one day. So, and I understand a lot of that's networking and learning the business. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I love doing the media stuff. So a lot of these things go in tandem. As we've seen.
Well, because you have the personality. That's why you're in media and you do all these things, right? A lot of coaches probably don't have the personality.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to explore that avenue of your personality and be on the camera and everything
and it could be a route to those other things. Now, that's not why I'm doing this job. I'm not working for NBC to become a head coach. I'm not working for NBC to run a franchise. I'm working for NBC because I like doing media, and I like calling games, and I like being able to teach and preach like the love and game of basketball on television. I want people to be able to turn on the game at home. And like when they hear my voice, they know they're gonna learn something, and also maybe laugh and like unwind and take a break from work for a little bit, or life or reality. That's why I like doing TV, and I think I have a gift and a skill that can allow people to have that. So I'm trying to fine tune it, learn it, network. But those other opportunities could come, as we've seen with JJ Redick, Chauncey Billups. My dad was a guy. He was on TNT before he got that Magic job. So it's like, a lot of them are synonymous. He also worked with ESPN again, and then he got the coaching job. So people go back and forth. It happens all the time. Van Gundy's, all these guys are been in and out. So that's where I'm at with it too. But I look at my little brother. I was like, man, so much tonight has been about me and my dad, and I get it. But my little brother's doing his thing too, and I'm very proud of him. And it was a lot that night, just because I'm working, but there's emotions involved in it. But I was very thankful for it, and it was great.
It was really cool to see, and I think we all got that nice viral clip of you interviewing your dad, and I thought it was just hilarious.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious.
It was a ski lodge in the Aspen.
He goes, no skiing.
No skiing. He goes against all contracts across the board.
My dad won't get in the water.
Yeah.
No.
He doesn't do like a beach trip.
No, won't
take a dunk.
Bro, my pops will not. I have a picture that I posted on my like Hamptons photo of him on the beach with sneakers on. And his pants are rolled up, and he's just sitting there like, that's my pops. He like wears sneakers on the beach. He does not put his feet in the sand. He has like a thing about that, and he doesn't get in the water. He's been in the ocean one time, and I was there. We were snorkeling in the Bahamas, and my dad's always like this tough guy, old school, Chicago. We're all in this boat in the water, bro. Again, we're going scuba diving, but if you didn't want to go deep in the water, you could just snorkel and just stay at the top. Obviously, my pops was like, I'll just snorkel. I don't want to do all that. He's the last person off the boat, and he's holding on to the ladder the entire time. when and he's looking at all the fish from up top, so you can only see like things. He's just like, wow, it's beautiful. I'm like, man, you can't even get down here. He tries to go under the water, but he had a snorkel on. So when he went to go breathe air, it was straight ocean water going into his lungs.
No.
So I just remember being kicked the top of my back because he was panicking. He kicked me so hard because I was right below him. I remember getting hit and looking up, and I wanted to be mad at him for kicking me. Bro, I just see him on the ladder. He goes above the ladder and was like choking really hard. They had to bring him up on the water, and he had to I've just never seen him so vulnerable.
Yeah.
When I saw him like that, I was like, you're not as tough.
No,
as
you never want to see your father in that
No,
situation.
I was like, you're not as tough as I thought you were.
Yeah.
You grew up in the mean streets of Chicago, but you just can't handle some salt water. It was it was an interesting thing to see. But yeah, no, he definitely is not skiing in Aspen. That was more so for me. I don't think I've never been to Aspen.
Yeah, I've never done like a snow trip. It's always beaches.
For any basketball player, skiing is like the death of you. It's an automatic torn AC. Everybody I know who does it tears their AC. I can't do it. I won't do it.
I want to say it was Vladimir Radmanovich that skied and it was against his contract. We gotta look that up. I think you're not supposed to do that.
Towards ACL, bro. When you're like going down the hill, when you don't know what you're doing, your knees are like you're gonna tear your. I'm not.
If you were running a franchise and you're a starter and your team wanted to go skiing, what would you say?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I'd rather you get on a snowmobile, which is probably even more dangerous. It's like a jet ski on ice. I'd rather you get
Be
on
in the
that
cabin with some hot cocoa. You don't need to like go out there in the mountains.
That's what you do, and everybody wants to ski because it looks fun. You're like sliding down ice. It looks like I'd maybe go sledding like a child. I'd like hop on like one of those little, what I mean? I can't.
Like reindeer? What are you? Like, what the hell's going on?
That's kind of more my speed, bro. I stopped jet skiing. I almost broke my neck on a jet ski one time.
Like, were you doing like a?
No, bro. I was just going fast, and like sometimes when that water's dark, you can't see. When you're going that fast, you can't measure how big each wave is in front of you. So you're going like, dun, 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 and then you hit one big wave or one wave that's at a different angle, and I'm off the side of that thing, bro.
Your family has one jet ski that goes way too fast. Like, I think you guys illegally souped it up. I don't know what in the Vin Diesel you did that thing. I got on it one time, and it's like my hair went back. It's nuts.
I went to the jets. This is when you're young and stupid. I'm like 25 years old, and I go to this. I look up fastest jet ski in the world, and I looked at the inventory to see if there's one in Florida, and there was a store way out in Kissimmee that had one for sale. I drove out there and I bought it, and I brought it to the lake, and I didn't tell nobody. I bought 2 normal jet skis, so we had 3. We brought them over to my mom's house. She has the lake house. We're over there, and everyone's getting on. I was like, no, I want this one. I'm gonna get on this one. And we're all just messing around. We'd race, and the way my thing would take off and jump in the air, everybody's like, "Yo, why is this jet ski like that?" So everybody wanted
professional athlete. I'm just quicker than you even on the water.
Any person who got on the jet ski was like, "Yo," they didn't want to drive once you're on that one. And Adriana can attest to this. When you get on that, you don't want to drive the other ones anymore.
Opposite feeling for me. I wanted to go safe and smooth on the other ones.
Everyone else would get on it like,
crazy.
Like, this is way more fun. It's just way more power.
With fun comes a little risk.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I fell off that exact one that we're talking about, and I thought it was over. Like, I'm not even kidding. After that, I told myself I will never go that fast on a jet ski again. So I can ride that one, but I don't push it.
I think after this podcast, the water police on Lake Malin's going to be looking for it.
They won't catch me.
Give you a ticket.
I'm not going to be on there. I'm not going to be on there, no.
I want to talk about, before we wrap, or we have some time. I want to talk about, so when watching Steph Curry live the other day, like we did, it's a completely different experience than watching any other player. And I just thought about how hard it must be, and this is when you come into play because you had to do it a bunch, guarding this guy, because guarding the Kobe's and the Michaels, these guys they're posting you up, they're ISOing you, they're right in front of you. At least you know what you're doing. You know what I mean? Steph gets off the ball. It's like guarding a wide receiver. Like the way he's coming through the screens, come out, and then obviously he can shoot it after he passes half court. Yeah. He can shoot from anywhere, and it's quick. It's the hardest. It just looked, and please walk us through it. It has to be the hardest thing on the basketball court.
It's weird guarding him because it takes a committee for him to score. You know what I mean? So it's like when you're guarding like an ISO player, for instance, if I was guarding Kyrie, and when Kyrie would score me, it felt more humiliating because there was no help there. He just backed me down and shot a fadeaway over me. I was like, God. So if he does it a couple times in a row when the crowd starts getting, you're like, it's not fun. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Steph is coming off screens and stuff, so it doesn't feel as humiliating because you're like, yo, he's scoring because this guy just set a screen on me. But on the other end, because he is who he is, when he hits a 3, it's like a home game. They come to see him. It doesn't matter what city he plays in. For instance, he just came near Orlando. The Magic crowd are cheering for the Magic, but they want the Magic to win while Steph scores 40.
Well, yeah, you didn't pay the money to go see Steph have an off night.
No, so you want Steph to do well. You just don't want them to win the game.
Of course.
So when he hits a 3, the crowd, it's different from anybody else. When anybody else hits a 3, the Magic crowd is like, when Steph hits a 3, everybody's like, oh, here we go. Like you want him to get going. So when you're guarding him and you're like playing in front of your home crowd and you're trying to do everything to stop him and he's coming off a screen and shoots it 4 feet behind the line, fade away, and the crowd's going crazy, you're just like, this isn't fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy's frying right now, and people are looking at me like it's my fault, and I'm getting screen. And he gets going, and people want him to score. And this guy is the greatest shooter ever, bro. Watching him play, he just gets an inch of daylight and launches it. You're just like, it's going in, and it does. It just goes in, and you just look at it like, bro, this dude is shooting it's not real. I've never seen someone be able to shoot the ball like him. I don't think we'll ever see a guy shoot like him.
Well, you're gonna have, obviously, his influence in the game is unmatched, right? Every player now, they want to shoot threes. Even like after it was Trae Young and there was another guy, and everyone's like the next Steph, and it's all these guys. The tough thing with like LeBron, for example, where they're like, what was his influence on the game? Well, no one could be like 6'10" and do what LeBron does. You know what I mean? But everyone can shoot threes. Yeah. So it's just more relatable.
If we're talking influence on the game, as in playing style, Steph has a way bigger impact than LeBron. If we're talking playing style, Steph Curry's changed the NBA. Look at the importance of threes. Of course. It's just it's not up for debate. It's not up for debate. He's had a 10 times bigger imprint on the game of basketball than any player in our era. Steph has. Period, bro. It is what it is. Now, culturally, LeBron is number one. He's done everything just for what a player can stand for, what you could build a business, what he's done for his friends, the agencies.
Player empowerment.
The player empowerment, right. His I Promise School, what he's meant for the game, him being the best player in the NBA for so long. Culturally, LeBron James is basketball. He's our Jordan of this era. He just is, he is the brand, and there's nobody else that's had the torch. He's the guy they gave for the Olympics, not just for the basketball team, for all of U.S. men's sports representing America. LeBron James holding that damn torch, guys. All right? He's our Messi, our Ronaldo. He is the biggest athlete in sports as an American that we have, and he's been that. So culturally, LeBron's number one. If we're talking basketball specifically, X's and O's, and how the playing style is, and how teams play now, and what the importance of analytics going towards threes, and now you're seeing the best players in each team shoot 7-8 threes a game. Steph Curry is the biggest influence of our time. It is what it is.
Well, can you talk to us about James Harden's influence? Because I feel like was he your first, like, the offense is built around him as an engine, like he's the quarterback and like the heliocentric offense. Well, I don't know if you can win a championship like that, because look at the recent titles, right? Like Celtics. I guess the Nuggets running through Jokic, but it's just the ball's whipping around, right?
I think Chris Paul had that with the Hornets too.
Okay.
He was like, it was just the ball's in his hands 90% of the game. Remember that?
Of course.
The Lakers series. I mean, he was fantastic. It's just he didn't have enough on that team. But Chris was a guy that, like, he was so damn good. He'd make guys like borderline all-star. You can have an all-star year with him. You get a David West, you get a Tyson Chandler, you get a DeAndre Jordan. You can make a guy an all-star quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, because those guys are very good players and skilled, but Chris can get that chemistry. He's just running the team. He's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, but yes, to the volume of scoring and assisting and everything's around a player, James would probably be the guy that started that. And then you get your Trae Youngs, and now you get your Lucas. These ball dominant, like, to the point where you're like, can you win like this? Yeah, he's had an impact on the game too.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think it's to the level what Steph is or anything like that, but if we're talking other guys who have had an imprint on today's society, James is one of the more influential players.
And someone that if they wanted to be negative, they would say the fouling, the foul baiting, and stuff like that. The foul baiting,
the free throws, you know what people
talk about. You call it, it's a skill.
It is a skill, because if everybody could do it, bro. If I could figure out a way to manipulate 10 free throws a game, I would have done it. Okay, if you could figure out a way to get extra 10 points a game off free throws, I would have done it. I would have made $100 more million. I wouldn't be doing this podcast. I'm just kidding.
Jesus, is that where you're going with this?
I wouldn't be working. I'm just kidding. No, but that's, if you had that skill, then everybody would do it. If everybody could get fouled like Shea, they would do it. You can't do it because you're not good enough. That's the bottom line. So it's like, bro, everybody wants to point at what James Harden and Shea get away with. Well, then why don't you get fouled like them? Why don't you? Because it's not just you have to be a superstar. No, you don't. Austin Reeves gets fouled just as much. I feel like
the narrative's turning on Jalen Brunson too, where people are saying he's doing it as well.
Of course he does, because he gets fouled. Or he's able to bait him. What do you mean? He's doing it because he's getting away with it. Yeah. If you keep getting free throws out of it, why would you stop doing it? The more points you score, the better your numbers are. The better your numbers are, the more you get paid. Why wouldn't these guys figure out a way to get fouled if they can? And with how guys are defending them, they can manipulate. They can. So, I mean, it's part of the game.
Yeah, so the Thunder are the 1 seed, and then the Nuggets are 2, and Rockets are 3 as of right now. Who do you think has a better chance of beating the Thunder? Who's more of a threat, Rockets or Nuggets? But I have a question. Here's the better question. If they met in the conference semifinals, Nuggets, Rockets, who has a better chance of beating the Thunder? Who wins if they play each other? And that's also a matchup between the two best centers in the NBA, you said.
Yes, Sengun and Jokic could feed a family. The entertainment that would feed families. I think that's an underrated matchup. I love watching Nikola Jokic and Sengun play. They go at it, and Sengun turns on his A game. I mean, it's like I'm giving you my best to go at it. You do. You saw it even in the summer in Euro play. He kind of got the best of him a little bit. Now, Nikola's obviously a much better player. Sengun's a stud too, though. But Nikola's the best player in the NBA. With that being said, Sengun goes at him, and it's fun to watch. And it makes Nikola have to play so hard because Nikola has to play on both ends now. You don't get a break with Sengun. And you could see that. Sometimes he'll be guarding him like, bro, I got 15 assists, 30 points, and I got to go down and this guy's doing 2 spin moves. It's Sengun has the dribbling. He's quick. It's a lot. So, yeah, those series will be important for when who's the backup big for Nikola?
Jonas Valanciunas.
He is going to be huge, and that's why they wanted him. Hey, man, we match up with Houston. We're going to play you and Nikola together. You got to guard Sengun. We're asking Nikola to do too much.
Right.
And we don't need Nikola in foul trouble. We can't have Nikola getting 2 fouls in the first quarter, and I got to pull him out, and then the Rockets get a 12-point lead, and we're playing from behind the rest of the game. You got it. He's going to have to play. So that's what the importance of him. I still think overall with their team, Denver, honestly, it's a Nikola thing, man. He's the best player on the planet. I think they're the one team that can beat him. They're the one team that pushed him last year. They took him to 7 games, and he limped his way with a bunch of guys that were limping. And they took the full healthy Thunder to 7 games. So you're telling me now they're fully healthy, and you add guys like you said, Valanciunas, and you add Cam. Again, Cam Johnson might not be as good as Michael Porter Jr., but he's still a very good player and fits their system. You add Bruce Brown back. P. Watt had 30 last night.
Tim Hardaway
Jr. Christian Braun, who just got his extension, a good player. You had all these guys on that team who all have playoff experience, finals experience. Yeah, man.
Well, are you surprised? We already knew the Rockets were going to have a good defense. Are you surprised about their offense? Because obviously not having a point guard, even though Reed Shepard's been playing a lot better.
He's playing a lot better now.
Right. But they don't have like that, I guess a veteran point guard presence. But they also have Şengün and KD who are their own offense.
Yes. They would be second, okay? So yeah. I think Denver's the team that best can beat. I think if I had to pick one team to beat the Thunder, or possibly could, again, I have the Thunder winning it all, just so we're clear. I don't have anybody beating the Thunder. I don't have anybody beating in the Western Conference. I don't have anybody in the Eastern Conference beating them. I think the Thunder will win again this year, and I think they're going to win again next year. I think they're going to be the first three-peat team we've had since the Lakers.
A three-peat, man, is crazy. That's your call. That's your prediction right now officially.
I think they'll be the third team in our era. The
Warriors won 3 out of 4.
Yes, but they didn't go 3 in a row.
Yeah.
I think the Thunder do 3 in a row. I think they're that good and they're set up for the future. They might get another top
you're
pick.
telling me they're gonna be better than the Miami Heat with LeBron. I'm
not saying they're better than those teams. I'm saying they're gonna have.
The Warriors would have beat we talked about this. Warriors would beat the Raptors if they didn't get injured. That would have been a three-peat.
Yes, and if I had that healthy Warriors team versus Thunder team, I'm going the Warriors. What are we talking about? But
the difference is the Thunder are like 22.
Yes,
it's nuts.
They're not going anywhere.
Yeah,
and their best players are all locked into contracts. Not to mention they got more top picks coming in. They might get a top pick this year. They have the Clippers pick.
I think the Clippers have to put together some wins.
Something.
Yeah.
For the sake of the league.
Yeah. And by the way, we're talking about bigs and Jokic. Last night, Derek Queen had 30 points in 30 minutes against Jokic.
I love his game. You know what he reminds me of? He has like Naz Reid-like guard skills. There's like something there. He's not as quick as Naz Reid, but he has some of that. But he's bigger and he's more potent down in the post.
Someone said if he was European, he would have been like a top 5 pick.
He has that he's going to be the guy there. You could see it coming, and you could see now New Orleans is.
They're thinking about trading Zion now.
Yo, we got this kid right here.
There's a cloud over him because they traded him for the unprotected pick next year. So that's like the thing, right? Like everyone's like he's a good player, we like him, but their unprotected pick for going to the Hawks next year is tough. But man, he's been so good.
He's been good though. He's a bright spot. He is
enough for Joe Dumars not to it doesn't look as bad that it's still a bad.
No,
trade.
But
at least he's like, but look, he's good. I told you.
No, but he's good though.
Yeah,
and he saw that. You got to give him credit. We can't. Again, we always looking at. We don't know what the player's going to turn out to be next year.
Yeah.
So why don't we just focus on what we know now? What we know now is he's talented. My man just had 30. He's a rookie. Okay.
Against the best player in the world at his position too.
It's the way he's doing it. He's got fake handoffs. He's skilled. He's quirky. He's smart. His coach raved about him at Maryland. Even that game where it was like, I don't know what the score was. It was a tie game with 7 seconds left. He went in the huddle and said, "Give me the damn ball."
Right.
and he went and got the game winner. And his coach after the game was like, that dude in the huddle said, give me the ball. And I said, I trusted. This is a kid. You know what I mean? He's 18, 19 years old. I said, all right. And he went and got it for us. Like that bro.
Do you think that's a benefit of also him playing with a bunch of NBA players at Montverde versus like the route you went where you were like the man in Winter Park, right? You kept it local. There's obviously pros and cons to both, but like, what would it have been like for you if you went to like an Oak Hill
at that time? I was so much better than everybody. I'm not saying this. If I would have went to Oak Hill, it would have been the same thing. It was my team. Yeah. There was no team I was not going to go on, and the ball wasn't in my hands. I don't care if I would have played with Gilchrist or AD. Their talent was there, but playing wise, scoring, ain't nobody was near me. So like, if I would have went to Oak Hill, it would have just been my show still.
Who was on the pod recently? It was like Theo Pinson. They were talking about you.
Dwayne Bacon and Theo Pinson. Yeah, and he was like, bro, there's nobody like him in high school. Like that's how it was. If I would have went to, I used to give Montverde 40. So if I would have went to Montverde, or what is it, Montverde?
Montverde, yeah.
Yeah, if I would have went there or an Oak Hill or St. Pat or St. Benedict or whatever those high program teams, would have been no different. It would have been the best player on that team. Yeah, that's why I didn't leave. I was like, I don't need to go there. I already got all this motion, and I had good players around me locally, like Brett and Adam and Robert, all these guys who could play a little bit. And people don't know who these guys are that I'm naming, but locally they were like solid players. These guys all went and played college basketball. I felt with how good I was in high school, we could beat anybody, and we did. Right. So I don't take it back. And I got a high school experience. I got to go to prom. I got to go to homecoming. I got to go to a Friday night football game.
Yeah, you didn't live in a dorm?
No, I didn't live in a dorm in high school. I got to be a kid, bro. Because once I left high school, it was over for me.
But it's also, on the flip side, it is good for some of these kids to go to like a Montverde and like have
some
that.
Some of these kids need to get away.
And
some of these kids need to get away. That's what I'm saying. It's all relevant. I also had a great setup. I got to live in a nice house. I lived in Winter Park. I had a house above, bro. I had everything. With my parents, who they were, I was good. Some of these other kids who are very talented, like, you take a Kyrie, you take some of these dudes from the inner city, Jersey, wherever they're from, they need to go at these places where there's nothing going on. Quinn Cook's like, bro, I needed to get out of, he's from the DMV, bro. He's like, I if I was hanging around with these dudes in high school, I don't know what trouble I would have got. At DeMatha, all I did is play basketball, go to school. Play the basketball, go to school. He's like, there's nothing else to do. Yeah. So sometimes that structure is needed. So
we talk about obviously your high school career. You met your fiance while you were already in the NBA. Do you ever have to kind of like explain to her what was going on back then? The phenom, the legend.
I think she's gotten it now just from when we're out. How many people? You know what I mean? It's tough because I met her at the back half of my career, so she missed even my early Houston or my Clippers like that where I was scoring and doing all these things. A lot of that was she didn't see that. Yeah. So,
but your high school career met where like the internet was starting to take off, right? Like I talk about it with like Johnny Manziel.
And Johnny is
that timing opposite. Is like the timing is crazy.
But Johnny's not resentful, but Johnny's like, man, I wish I had NIL. I didn't want that. I'm very glad that I didn't get paid in high school. I'm glad I didn't get paid when I was at Duke. I didn't want that money then. I don't know what it would have did to me at that age. I didn't want any of that for myself. I think there's a beauty in wanting to go pro, and that's when you get it. It's like you put everything into going pro. If you already are making, oh my God, bro. If I was at that time, man, how I was in high school, and if it was right now, I would have been making millions as a senior in high school. That's not real. Now that whole high school experience I just had, I'm not doing that anymore. Right. It's just different. I wouldn't want all that. It was already hard enough. The attention I was getting in high school was already weird. Imagine me now, I would have drove to school in a Range Rover or a Ferrari. That's weird, bro. Kids are just happy to have a car. You're cool if you have a car at school. If I'm pulling up in a Ferrari because I just made $2 million and like, bro, that's stupid, man. I would have been doing dumb stuff. Doesn't make any sense. I'm glad I'm glad these kids are getting it. I'm glad I didn't. And I'm glad I got it making it in the NBA. Now, if you're that good, you'll be a millionaire by 18. I was 18 years old getting paid millions already. Signed a $12.5 million deal when I was 18 years old. Lottery pick. So if you're that good, you'll get paid anyways quickly. But yeah, NIL now, you got 15-year-olds, 14-year-olds walking around with cash in their pocket. I think it could kill certain motivation. So that's a worry for mine in terms of future development. When we talk about Americans versus overseas, hey, man, those dudes over there right now, bro, the way they're molding them and playing them, we got kids at 15 years old worried about their social media following. I do get worried about this with the development of the future, but so far I'm okay. I mean, look, I look at Cameron Boozer and I look at AJ DeBanchin, I look at De'Aaron Peterson and Mikael Brown, and the list keeps going. Caleb, what's his name? Wilson from UNC. Yeah. I'm like, okay, we're okay. These guys are.
This draft is gonna correct a lot of what people are saying.
What was explained to me. Because, not that we're old heads, we're just from different eras. So I concern about it. You worry about it. What's been explained to me is, hey, that was a concern 3 or 4 years ago. Because these kids only know this, they're able to handle it now.
Yeah.
So, yes, a couple years ago when all this stuff was new, you're seeing some of our product. You saw, like, we took a dip. A lot of our guys were coming in. We're like, man, this NBA talent from our side of the pond it's not looking too good. Now we're in this Gen Z, deep in the Gen Z era, to where these kids now are coming up. They only know social media, so they're able to handle it and monitor it. And they only know NIL, so they're able to deal with it because they grew up with it. So we're getting guys who are still able to, you know what I'm saying? So I'll say, okay, that's true. That's fair.
Are you excited to see the World versus USA in the All-Star game this year?
I think it makes it interesting. I mean, for
that world team they're all healthy.
They're nasty.
Yeah, it's gonna be nuts.
For a team that has, for the All-Star, for an event that hasn't done well. Okay, it's the one stain right now in the NBA. It's the only thing we do have. The views have been up, which has been great. Without LeBron, they were great. Now LeBron's back. The ratings this year, NBC's crushed it. Now that there's multiple avenues, other networks are also doing it. You got a lot of basketball players. The coverage of the NBA this year has been phenomenal. Ratings are high, everything. The only blip is the All-Star. So, with NBC doing it now, and the nostalgia they're going to try to bring back, they're doing the jerseys, they're doing all this stuff. It's going to be, I think this year is going to be cool. And then us doing the world team versus the Europe, and the European team's crazy. But I think it makes it competitive because that's been a question over the past couple of years is who's better. So they've gotten all the MVPs, but we're still winning the gold medals in the Olympics. So I don't know how you justify that. I mean, they might have some of the best individual players, but over a large sample, we're still running it. All right, the NBA is still like 90% Americans. We have the best league in the world, and we still winning the gold medals over here.
Serbia was up 17 in the fourth. They
I didn't like it. I thought we were gonna lose.
This whole
that.
Conversation would be different if they held on to that. They'd be like, man,
isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I look forward to it. I think eventually we'll get to the 101. It didn't happen. But it's something that's still, I think, circulating and being talked about. So not for this All-Star, but maybe ones to come, they can figure out a way to get that 101 because that would be the event.
Yeah.
You're seeing it off the court with like the ball is life and all these other things. People are into the 101 stuff. That space entering the NBA would be insane. Like getting the top players to do it, that would be dope. To get like a Shea Alexander versus a Luka in 101 and for like $2.5 million is it would steal the All-Star game. No one would give about anything else.
Well, if the All-Star game was like the next day, everyone would already
the problem
be talking about that.
There's liability.
Yeah, of course.
Because if these guys play a 101, 101's a very nerve-wracking
Then
thing.
what the fans would say is they do it in the sun. We see it all the time, and they
Yes,
roll it
but
out. Three
not
dribbles.
on camera for $2.5 million.
Yeah.
How hard guys would be playing, and if someone gets injured, can you imagine a president of a team being like, "So wait, our season's over because our best player tore his ACL in a 101 game at All-Star break."
Yeah.
I'm not allowing our player to do. There would be pushback from the execs, and I understand that. If I'm the Bucks and Giannis means everything to my team, Giannis is not playing 101 in the All-Star game at All-Star weekend. He's not getting hurt in this bullshit.
Of course not.
Because if you play 101, you got to go hard. It's a nerve.
What if they made it a rule where it was like, I'm not gonna say like only reserves that play in the 1-on-1 thing, but something like that, or give G League guys an opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're already disinterested. You lost it.
Yeah.
You want like Kyrie versus Donovan Mitchell.
I want the best of the best.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're gonna be like,
it just didn't work for you.
I'll just watch the Ball's Life thing. Because those guys do all type of fun moves, and like that shit's entertaining. There's a reason why I watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's one of those give or take things. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what we can do there. Anyways, that wraps it for this episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, the Off Guard Podcast. You can also now listen to us on Apple and Spotify. Our links are up. They'll be in our bios. Yes, PG?
I put it up.
Hey, look at that. He's interested, folks. And now we're going to have it.
This is insane.
We will now have everything organized. When you can go to our links, you'll have everything easy for you guys to listen to us. I know it's a struggle moving in the beginning, but we got everything lined up. We'll be back next week. Everybody have a safe weekend, and me and Pausha are out.